So this is my 1 year update living in New York City. For those of you guys who are completely new here, hi, welcome to my channel. My name is Jaylin. I'm a lifestyle and travel YouTuber, content creator, you know. If you guys are interested in seeing my apartment tour, I'm actually still living in the same apartment. I created one exactly a year ago where I talked about my journey. I'm originally from the Bay Area, Oakland, California, and I moved here a year and 3 months ago with my boyfriend Andy too. He's a videographer, photographer. I'm gonna make this quick because I explained in my last video, but pretty much moved here because he got a job working for Beautiful Destinations. He is no longer working with them. We are both freelancing. We started a company together where we both produce content for brands. We both do videography and photography, so we decided to join forces and create a company together. So now moving forward with this video, I'm gonna be talking about what I've learned in the past year, because I feel like so many things have changed in my life since I moved from the Bay Area to New York. So if you guys are interested in seeing this video, then please keep watching. Also, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and please keep watching. Also got my matcha latte, so I'm ready. So New York City, I feel, is a melting pot of so many different cultures. When you hear New York City, you hear land of opportunities, hustle and bustle, and rude people. All of it holds true except the last part, but it's safe to say that New York has changed my life since I moved here from the Bay Area. I want to say my life hit a 180, and that's how drastic my life has changed. It's insane. When I was living in the Bay Area, the pace was, looking at it now, the pace is very, very, very slow compared to New York. Everybody probably knows that. But just being able to feel it for myself, it was so different. So living in the Bay Area, I was doing YouTube consistently. I wouldn't necessarily say I wasn't successful, but I wasn't getting that steady income that I was looking for my freelance job. And then moving here, I feel like you get opportunities like this, left and right. There's events every single day happening, networking opportunities, people to meet, people to have meetings with, and there's just so much more networking opportunity. Just bottom line, that was probably the hardest thing for me to adjust to, was the pace, because growing up in California and living there for the past 22 years before I moved, I was just always used to that slow, chill pace life, and moving here I had to get used to the hustle. If you want to be successful in New York, you have to hustle, you have to work hard. And yes, it is expensive, but that brings me to my next point. So living in the Bay Area, Andy and I were paying about $500 to $700 for rent every month. That's including utilities and electricity and internet and all that jazz, for one room in my brother and sister's house. At the time, it was hard. It was hard to afford $500 to $700 a month, even with me and Andy splitting that rent. And it's crazy to say, but it was hard living in California because the pace was so slow, and it was just so hard to make it as a freelance out there. And not to talk down on the Bay Area, because I love the Bay Area, it'll always be home. But honestly, for networking opportunities, if you're not in San Francisco, then it's just hard. So being that it was kind of a struggle to even make that rent, I thought it would be impossible to move to New York, because New York is ridiculous. The studio that we're living in now, and if you guys want to see the apartment tour, I'll link it in the cards and also in the description. But right now we are paying $3,000 for a studio, and we're living in the heart of Manhattan, so we're pretty much paying for the location, and not only that, but the feeling of being in the city. We lived here for 1 year, and we decided, okay, after the year is up, we can explore other boroughs and see how we feel about the other locations. 2 months before our lease was up, we started apartment hunting all around New York, and we just didn't feel the same vibe as we did living here. So we decided to renew our lease. And honestly, I don't care if you pay $3,000 for your 5-bedroom with a pool in the back, because it's not about that to me. It's about the feeling and the opportunities. If I was paying that in Nebraska or Texas, like, I don't think I would be getting the same opportunities, and that's what means most to me. As someone who just turned 24, I still feel like I'm super young. So I can do these things right now, and I'm not trying to settle down, so I don't need a big house. So living in Manhattan just seems perfect for me, and it has been a dream come true. Also, why I brought up the whole rent situation in the first place was because I felt like moving to New York was a challenge and a stepping stone, and that's something that we both needed to grow. Because if I'm steady, trying to struggle to pay $500 to $700 a month, I'm never gonna grow out of that. Moving from 500 to straight up 3,000 was insane. And for the entire time that Andy was working at Beautiful Destinations, they were helping with the rent, of course. And since he quit, it was just me and him splitting the rent. It was at that point where Andy and I had to hustle hard, because if we didn't, then we couldn't make our rent. And now, like, not even to brag, but I can comfortably afford our rent now. And it's crazy because, like I said, if I were to be living in California still, I would still be stagnant and stuck trying to struggle to pay $500 to $700 for rent. Bottom line, for anyone out there, you do need those challenges, and you need to go through those obstacles in order to grow. And I'm not saying it was easy, because our first year living in New York, especially after he quit, was hard. Like, imagine coming from California and me being shy, having anxiety, trying to go out and hustle and get deals, work with brands, work with companies. It all worked out for the best. I've definitely gotten out of my comfort zone. It definitely helped me grow as a person. And now in the 1 year and 3 months that we've been living in New York, we were able to work with brands like Cathay Pacific, Travelzoo, Sony. We got to visit more than 10 countries together. And it has been a dream come true, and I owe it all to the city. It helped me grow so much as a person, and I hate to say grow so many times in this video, but it changed my life, and I'll never ever take that for granted. Another thing that I noticed about myself that changed a lot was my wardrobe, my makeup style, and my personality. Also, my weight. When I was living in California, my lifestyle was to pretty much get boba every single day, to eat out every single day, and because I had a car, I drove everywhere and I did not go to the gym. I was just living this unhealthy lifestyle, and I didn't see it as unhealthy because I didn't know anything else. I didn't know any better. Since I moved to New York, because it's a walking city, I started walking everywhere, taking the subway, and sometimes if I'm lazy, I'll take Uber. But for the most part, I do walk everywhere. And since then, I have lost over 10 pounds, and I also cut out boba. There's a lot of things that I cut out of my life that I used to love so much. And then also moving on to my wardrobe, I didn't really know who I was living in California. At least I thought I did. But looking at it now, I felt like I was so lost then. I would always find people's style on Instagram, and I would just copy their style, and then the next day I would get inspired by someone else, which is completely different, and then I would copy their style, so then it just wasn't consistent. And when I moved here, I just kind of found myself in my own style, what I liked, and I just stopped caring about how I should be dressing and started focusing on what makes me feel comfortable. And then also for makeup, if you guys have been following me, you'll notice that I stopped wearing makeup. Back then when I was living in California, I was making makeup tutorials, I want to say 3 times a week on YouTube. And it would be heavy makeup to the nine, like eyelashes, eyeshadows, concealer, foundation, contour, everything, you name it. I had it on my face every single day. Glitter, everything. And since moving to New York, I kind of changed it up because it just felt right to me to wear less makeup and be more natural, especially because I was fortunate enough to travel to so many different countries. It opened my eyes to something bigger. Not saying that makeup is not important to me anymore. It still has a special place in my heart. It's just that when I went to these countries and I saw how less people had, it made me think that I didn't need that much either. And this just goes for anything in my life. And I just kind of had a change of heart. My mentality changed for a lot of things. Back then in California, I was also super insecure. So I would always get into it with my friends. And then when I got into it with my friends, I would always put them on blast on my social media. And knowing the following that I had, it impacted them harder than it did for me. And it was just a hot mess. And since then, I made an oath to myself that I would never do that again. I don't ever want to use my channel for negative reasons. And I just feel so much better as a person. I feel like I'm rambling at this point, but I honestly haven't felt so passionate about a topic in so long. So to hear myself talk so freely about this, it kind of makes me happy hearing myself talking about it. Like, I just feel so much happier about myself. If you guys are watching this and are interested in moving to New York, I would definitely encourage it. I'm not saying that it's going to be easy. It was probably the hardest thing that I've ever done, but to be living here and to be experiencing this, it just outweighs all the bad, and it'll always be worth it to me. I honestly feel like you can get this experience anywhere. It doesn't have to be New York specifically. I just happened to dive headfirst into the most expensive city, but like I said earlier, you just need those obstacles in order to grow. I'm starting to hate that word now, saying it so many times in this video. I talked about this in my last video, but as far as apartment hunting went, we had 1 week to move all the way across the country. And what we did was we FaceTimed a broker, and he showed us different apartment units. And then the day we flew in, we stayed at an Airbnb, and then we checked out all the units, and I hated all of them. And then it wasn't until I looked outside of our last unit's window and I said, whoa, that building is shiny, it's new, and it's nice. And so Andy and I walked over there ourselves without the broker. We said, is there anything available? They said we only have one studio. They showed us a studio, and it became our home. So that's how our studio came to be. But if you guys do have a little bit more time, I would recommend coming out here, staying for at least a week, and then apartment hunt. But the thing about New York is that if you like an apartment, you have to get it ASAP, because what might be there today might not be there tomorrow, and that's kind of the luck with New York. If you want something, you just have to get it ASAP. But I would recommend staying here for a week and just to check out different units and different boroughs, just to kind of get a feel of what suits you. And lastly, since I don't want to make this too long, I just want to quickly thank you guys for watching this video and for sticking with me. For those of you guys who have been with me since before I even moved to New York and was with me since my makeup days, I want to say thank you so much, because you have no idea how much it means to have you ride out this journey with me. It's been a crazy one. There's been so many changes, but thank you so much for believing in me. If you guys subscribed after this video, thank you so much for also believing in me. I hope to create more lifestyle, travel, and beauty videos that will teach you guys some things that I've learned along the way, especially with the whole travel thing. I do travel, I want to say full-time now with my boyfriend for work, so each of those countries that we visit and we document, we like to share the culture with you guys so you guys can learn a little bit about what the country has to offer. And yeah, thank you guys so much again for watching, and I'll see you next time.